All right, I'm just reading this one chapter and then you're released for the evening, okay? So it's called Ye Olde Elvis Catnap. My life changed forever in London on December 4th, 2006 when I was 39 years old. I was doing a play called Love Song by John Colvenbach on the West End with Cillian Murphy, Michael McKean, and Neve Campbell. The director was a lovely and brilliant man named John Crowley, who had dazzled me with his direction of The Pillow Man on Broadway a few years ago. And since I'm bored by almost every theatrical production unless I'm in them, this is saying something. Now, unlike a lot of actors and actresses, I've never understood the whole I'm too fabulous to audition thing. I mean, if I loved the play and I wanted the part, I could not wait to get my ass in that room and earn it. And I'm lucky I've always had a fairly solid and sane view of what roles I'm right for. In other words, my agents have never gotten a call from me where I go, why didn't I get to audition for Julia Roberts' role in Runaway Bride? Nor have they ever heard, why don't I have Nicole Kidman's career? Not that I haven't wished, believe me. Oh, and I'm sorry to say you'll never see my portrayal of the painfully shy, gimpy Laura in The Glass Menagerie, nor will you ever get to hear me say, oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Except now. I'm certainly not right for every role, but when I am, I really am. Now take Sally in Third Rock, for example. At the time, I was being sent every single funny television script, and this is back when they actually made television comedies before The Bachelor and Wife Swap ruined everything. Anytime a show called for a funny girl, I would audition for it. If the role was written for a tiny Jewish Spitfire, I kid you not, I would throw a dark wig on and mortify myself. Okay. Do you guys want to hear about me getting the part of Third Rock, or should I just skip to the good stuff? Okay. All right. When I finally got the script for Third Rock, a year after it had first been mentioned to me, I ripped open the envelope eagerly, and to my surprise, I discovered it was way, way better than I ever could have imagined. For the first 10 pages, the aliens spoke in fluent Spanish, with subtitles, of course, until they realized they had landed off course and were in Ohio. I just laughed my ass off. I thought that was one of the most arbitrary, stupid, and brilliant things ever. But it was Sally, the weapons expert who lost a bet and ended up in a woman's body that I knew belonged to me. No one else will play this role, no matter what. I fought my ass off to get that part, and I went through 8 grueling auditions for it. I'd leave the room, flush with certain victory, only to hear my agent say, they love you, but they love the idea of Kirstie Alley more. But I'd be called back again and again and again. And I wasn't just waltzing in from 10 minutes away, mind you. A few times I had to fly in from New York. Over and over I'd think, okay, now they have to give it to me. And I'd hear, they adore you, but they're checking Ellen Barkin's availability. Even after I read for Sally, in front of the entire staff of the network with John Lithgow, and they all gave the thumbs up to cast me, the producers wanted me to come in again. They wanted a private work session with me and John, first thing in the morning, and didn't seem to care that I had to fly in a 3rd time from New York on the red eye. Okay, now I'm starting to get pissed. This is my part, you weenies. For Christ's sake, what do I gotta do to prove it to you? I was sorely tempted to say, oh, fuck off, maybe Queen Latifah's available. But I knew they couldn't. I couldn't. They could make me audition 20 more times, and I would, because I will not be denied. And thank God for them, I wasn't. This all helps me illustrate my point, which admittedly I could have made a bit more succinctly, but really, who can resist a fun trip down Third Rock Lane? My point is, when I'm right for a role, and I want the role, a very rare combo, I will do anything to get it. Now, get your mind out of the gutter, of course excluding sexual favors. Although, come to think of it, I've never actually been confronted with that dilemma. Oh no. Here's a little window into my sick brain. Now that it's occurred to me that I've never been hit on by some lecherous, revolting studio executive, my thought is, well, what's wrong with me that I've never been molested in an agent's office? Yeah, London, I'm getting there. The idea of leaving boring old New York and doing a play in a city I loved sounded thrilling. So even though it had been a long time since I'd had to audition for a theater role, I couldn't wait to get in there and nail it. And lest I give you the wrong impression, the combination of perfect role and then actually being cast in that role happens, I'm gonna say about 8% of the time out of 1,000%. Usually I just end up drunk in a bar throwing darts at Lisa Kudrow's headshot. But somehow I got cast. Kudrow was obviously busy, and I excitedly began to prepare for my 6 months in London. The only thing is I had that nasty little pill problem to contend with. It doesn't matter, I thought to myself. It's a perfect opportunity to stop once and for all. I had stopped many before many times. Withdrawal is no fun. And if you feel the need for a little bit more detail, just watch that scene in Trainspotting when Ewan McGregor's mother locks him in his room while he detoxes from heroin. I never saw dead babies crawling on my ceiling, but other than that, Vicodin withdrawal's pretty damn close. It's awful, horrific, but it's survivable. What I was most terrified of was the tsunami of depression that would crash into me and continue to crash over and over for months afterwards, which is why I couldn't ever really stop.